Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain why most agencies never build great setting teams. When you're scaling an agency, whether you're running ads or you have leads coming through your content, you need to make sure you have a great setting team, whether it's one setter or two or three. You need to make sure they're capable of booking calls for you every single day. And in this video, I'm going to explain how. The interview is a lie. Okay, so a setter interview is one of the least realistic environments possible. The candidates arrive prepared, relaxed, rehearsed, the opposite of an actual work setting. What the interview gives them is no rejection or pressure. They have unlimited preparation time. They're rehearsed. Everything's basically in an interview environment. What real appointment setting demands is constant rejection and objections, ambiguity and emotional control, high activity, volume under pressure, real-time problem solving. So most agencies accidentally hire actors, so people who are just good at making it seem like, they've done this, this, and this. The goal of your interview is to force real behavior to emerge. Everything else or everything in this presentation is designed to do exactly that. So that's what I'm going to walk you through. So what I mean by this is that, simply speaking, you need to make sure that in your interviews, you're using techniques to get people to show their real selves and how they actually perform. And then we're going to go through that today. So the test one is measure question quality, not talking ability. The biggest difference between average and elite setters is question quality. Most setters believe talking equals selling. Elite setters know questions equals control. Run a role play, pretend you're a lead, and track how quickly, how often, and how deeply they ask you questions. Weak setters will say something like, what do you do? What industry are you in? What do you do in life? Blah, blah, blah. Elite setters say, what made you start looking for help now? What's currently stopping you? Etc., etc. The deeper and more precise the questions become, the better the setter will perform on the field in the job. The next thing is force them to diagnose a conversation. So instead of asking, tell me about your experience, show candidates a real DM conversation, one that booked, ghosted, or went nowhere, and ask them to do an audit. This exercise reveals far more than any rehearsed answer that they could ever give you. Sales awareness. Can they identify where in the conversation that you showed them the loss of momentum and why it dropped off? Qualification ability. Can they spot disqualifying signals early on? Can they look at a conversation and say, for this, and this reason, the person is not qualified? Lead psychology. Do they understand what the lead was feeling at each stage? Pattern recognition. Top setters spot mistakes immediately. Average setters struggle to see them at all. So the bottom line of this point is to force them really on the interview to show how much they understand sales awareness, qualification ability, lead psychology, pattern recognition. Are they adept in these things, or are they just pretending to be a setter and really they're just some kind of virtual assistant? So test number 3 is objection layering. Give them this objection. This sounds great, but it's too expensive. Watch then what happens next. Most setters immediately start defending the offer, dropping straight into price justification, but elite setters understand that the first objection is rarely the real one. Is it actually money? Is it a trust thing? Is it timing? Is it uncertainty? Is it fear of failure? Do they need their spouse's approval? The best answer isn't overcoming the objection. It's uncovering the truth behind it. Top setters investigate. Average setters basically try to persuade. So when someone gives you an objection, you have to investigate it, not just try to persuade them. And the best setters understand this. Okay, next. Test commercial awareness. Ask the candidate, you booked 40 calls last month, only closed 5. Why? The answer to this question separates calendar fillers from revenue thinkers. Most average setters immediately point the finger outward. The sales team wasn't good enough. The closer dropped the ball. Their leads were low quality. But the best setters will say show rates and will mention show rates and no-show patterns, qualification quality and lead intent, offer to audience alignment, sales process breakdowns. Are they understanding these key metrics that actually affect the conversion of the call? You want people who think like business owners, not people who just fill a calendar up, because an AI can do that. But we're not trying to fill the calendar up. We're trying to actually make sales. Test number 5 is test their understanding of buyer psychology. Ask them, what are the biggest reasons prospects ghost after showing initial interest? This single question exposes the depth of a setter's understanding of human behavior, and it's one of the most revealing tests you can run. Bad setters say people are just busy, life gets in the way, vague, and this is vague, this is just deflecting, and this isn't accountability. Elite setters say no urgency or emotional pain created, that's why. Trust wasn't established early on. Poor qualification is the wrong lead. No emotional connection in the conversation, meaning there was no connection, obviously, with you and the prospect. Weak or non-existent follow-up strategy. So elite setter will mention these things and say these are the things that need to be taken care of. The more psychology awareness a setter has, the more dangerous they become in your pipeline. In a good way, meaning they're going to be great. Top setters understand human behavior, not just messaging templates. Test their ability to create demand. Most setters respond to inbound interest. Very few can create conversations from a cold or warm attention. And ask, someone likes every one of your clients' posts but never messages. What do you do? That's the kind of question you want to ask. Because when you ask this, they're going to say, okay, we need to send them a message of this kind with this kind of message, ask them this question, blah, blah, blah. So identify warm attention, recognize that engagement signals intent, and act on it before it goes cold. Use contextual outreach, so reference a specific post or a comment, non-salesy way, just open for a chat. And create micro commitments, so build momentum through small agreements before introducing any offer or any pitch. So you want to get the conversation going, ask them questions, get some buy-in. A real good setter, a great setter, an elite setter is going to understand these things. Someone who's just a virtual assistant pretending to be a setter is not going to understand this. Your buyers are often already watching. Elite setters know how to wake them up and convert attention into booked appointments. Test number 7 is revenue ownership test. Ask, how much revenue have your appointments generated? Most setters cannot answer this. That tells you everything. Elite setters track their pipeline with precision because they understand their role goes far beyond just booking the call. So let's say it's 5 metrics tracked: calls booked, show up rates, qualification rates, close rates, and revenue generated. Elite setters know all of these, but top setters take ownership of the outcome. They don't deflect to closers or blame the sales team or anything like that. So there's no excuses. The best setters don't think I book calls. They think I influence the revenue. This mindset is the main difference, and it's enormous, and it's non-negotiable. Because people who just think I book calls is inferior to someone who says I actually drive revenue. I influence the revenue. And if the revenue's down, it's because of me. So the setter will blame themselves and say, I need to get better quality leads. I need to increase trust. I need to qualify better, for example. Immediate disqualification, red flags to watch out for. No matter how polished a candidate appears, certain behaviors in the interview process are instant disqualifiers. These are the people who create headaches, miss targets, and blame everyone but themselves. Number 1 is blame leads or closers. The leads were bad, the sales team sucked, zero ownership, a guarantee liability on your team. If they point the finger, then they're going to be a liability to your team. Doesn't know their metrics, so no idea of the show rates, close rates, booking rates. They were never paying attention to what actually mattered. All they wanted was just to get paid, and that's it. They don't care about the business, and you need a team player who cares about your business. Talks more than they ask. So setters who dominate conversations can't qualify properly. Poor listeners make poor setters. So I'm not saying that someone who can talk for 5 minutes about the process of what they do is a bad thing. I like it when a person can explain step by step, A to Z, what they do as a setter to do the job well. But when it comes to overall having a conversation, do they listen? Do they ask questions? Are they a listener more than a talker? Because someone who is just talking, they're going to carry that through onto the setting, and they're going to annoy people, and the prospect isn't going to feel listened to. So just get rid of them straight away. Next is no process or curiosity. Everything sounds random. No system, no obsession with improvements means no growth trajectory. Sometimes I talk with setters and I say, or supposed setters, and I say, so if a prospect ghosts you, how do you deal with it? And they'll respond in some, inexperienced way that shows they have no experience, that shows they're guessing. And immediately I just know they have no experience at all when it comes to setting. Maybe they have done some, but maybe it was a long time ago. Maybe they're not really sharp in their skills. Basically, they're not as good as they say they are. Maybe they were more of just replying to inbound DMs. They were more of a virtual assistant. Many people in this industry couple virtual assistant DM management with actually being an appointment setter who drives revenue. These are different things. There's a difference between having inbound leads coming in and you reply to them and have a chat and basically just answer questions, versus someone who is a setter, an appointment setter, who is responsible for booking qualified calls with potential prospects who could be buying a program or a service for 2K to 5K to 10K to 15K, etc. So that's the last of it for today. This is my business, apexsetting.com. These are some of our clients here, as you can see, fitness coaches, health coaches, business coaches. And what we do is we source the setters. We interview thousands and hundreds of setters. We interview them. We make sure they're great. We filter through and find the top 1% setters. And then we hire them. We train them every single week and most days. We're constantly going back and forth with them, so they're constantly improving. And then we install them into your business, into an agency, into a coaching business. And then we basically manage them 7 days a week to book calls for you. So that's basically how it works. So if you like this information, then leave a like and check out my other videos. And also if you need help setting up, hiring a setter, setting up an appointment setting system, sourcing a setter, interviewing a setter, training a setter, managing a setter. If you don't have any time for this, we can do it for you. Take care.